Page 18, we're discussing the very important issue of whether the dead are aware of things on earth. And we're doing that primarily through a series of stories, all of which are excellent, and all of which I highly recommend. So here's a story. There was a certain pious man who gave a dinar to a poor man on the eve of Rosh Hashanah in a year of famine. So dinar is quite a lot of money. Gave a dinar to a poor man on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, just before I assume all the Yontif expenses are coming up. And it's a year of famine. So his wife provoked him about it. He got a bit of the old nagging. Fair enough. And eventually, being that I don't think Israelite homes really had lounge rooms, he went and spent the night in the cemetery. So while he was there, he heard two spirits conversing with one another. One of them said, let's go fly over the earth and see and hear from behind the curtain what misfortune is to come to the world. It's the Erev Rosh Hashanah, so the time for judgment. Or at this point I imagine it is Rosh Hashanah because he's asleep, so Rosh Hashanah's begun. Not clear. Might still be the day before. And her friend replies to her, I can't because I'm buried in a mat of reeds. So I don't know what the deal is here. Few opinions on why. One is that linen shrouds decompose quickly, so the body decomposes quickly, so the body's free to roam, and matting of reeds, they don't just decompose quickly, the body doesn't decompose quickly, so it takes a while before the spirit's free to roam. And then apparently another opinion is, so that was the Slach, and according to the Michtav Eliyahu, and the Ritva, this is just the Ritva, the issue is that she was ashamed to appear dressed in matted reeds, because apparently ghosts appear dressed in whatever they're dressed in the grave. Okay. So the girl who's buried in mattings of reeds, who said, you go roam and bring back the news to me. My friend roams and comes back and says, anyone who plants during the first rains this year, their planting will be destroyed by hail. So the pious man who was sleeping in the cemetery overheard all of this, and so he went and he didn't plant anything in the first rain. He planted everything in the second rain, so he was fine. And the next year he again went and spent the night at the cemetery. Same conversation. One girl says to the other, let's go roam the earth and hear about the misfortune. The other says, listen, I'm in a matting of reeds, can't do it, so you go check it out and come back to me. Fine. So she goes, checks it out, comes back and says, listen, this year anyone who plants during the second rain, gone, their crops are gone. The pious man overhears this, he goes and plants everything during the first rain, he's alright. His wife asks him, what's up? How did you know the planting both times? No hail for you. And he's like, I think this is his big mistake. He tells her the whole story. So they say it wasn't more than a few days later when a quarrel broke out between the pious man's wife and the mother of that child who had died. And the wife said to her, come, I'll show your daughter buried in a matting of reeds. Bit of a cruel thing to say to a woman who's lost her daughter. Doesn't reflect very well here. But okay, onwards. The next year, he went and spent the night in the cemetery. He heard the same two spirits conversing. One said to the other, let's roam and hear from behind the curtain what's to come to the world. What misfortune is to come to the world this year. Omrallah, says her friend to her, Chaverti hanichini. My friend, leave me. Devarim shebeini leveinech. The words that were between myself and between you, Kvar Nishma'u Ben Hachayim have already been heard between the living. Al Miyade. Apparently, the dead do know what goes on here. The Gemara comes with a response. Dilma inish acharino shachiv. Perhaps another person died. Va'azil, and went. Va'amalahu, and told to them. So ends the story. There are a few more stories here. I think all of them are great. The one question I have on the remaining stories is they seem to indicate that the dead can definitely hear things that are communicated to them by the living, but that's never used as a proof that they know events of the worlds of the living. May we not know the answer to that question for many good, long, healthy years.